corporate atmosphere and to be with so many wonderful people here tonight. We're living at a moment in our nation's history where we have a popular constitutional law professor, Nobel Peace Prize winning president who took power after 8 years of a total neocon administration that ultimately declared the world a battlefield, that launched the war in Iraq, launched the war in Afghanistan, implemented a terrible regime of terror tactics around the world, utilized secret prisons, authorized unconscionable acts of torture, not just in Abu Ghraib or Guantanamo, but at secret sites in places like Poland or Thailand. And I think that a lot of people, when they were supporting candidate Obama in the run-up to the 2008 election, believed that what they were voting for was a figure who was transformative in American politics and was going to bring an end to the excesses and the abuses of the Bush era. But if you actually look at the policies and get away from the rhetoric or the sort of myth surrounding political figures, and you look at what the actual practices have been under the Obama administration with regard to the very issues I just talked about, torture, the use of secret prisons, the idea that the world is a battlefield, assassination operations, President Obama in many cases has either continued or intensified the worst policies of the Bush era. And tonight I'm going to talk to you about several cases of how very little has actually changed from Bush to Obama when it comes to what is called U.S. national security policy. Now, I want to start by telling you the story of an American citizen named Anwar al-Awlaki, who was born in Las Cruces, New Mexico in 1971, and who most Americans, if they know that name, know one basic idea about him, and that is that he was a terrorist. And if you've seen the image of him on YouTube, you see a man in a camouflage jacket in front of a black flag, calling for armed jihad against the United States, celebrating the deaths or killings of US soldiers, and calling on young people in the West, young Muslims in the West, to either conduct attacks in their own countries or to join those fighting the international jihad on the fronts of the jihad in Afghanistan or Yemen or Somalia. And the reason why Anwar al-Awlaki's story is fascinating to me, and I think revelatory about where we are right now as a nation, is not so much who he is, but who we are. Because I think that we are judged as a society by how we treat the least of our people, the poorest of our people, and also the most reprehensible of our citizens. How we treat those who want to do harm to us speaks volumes to who we are as a society. In the aftermath of the Boston Marathon bombing, you heard these calls coming from mostly the Republican leadership in Congress, people like John McCain or Lindsey Graham, calling for this Tsarnaev kid, Jahar Tsarnaev, who's in custody right now, for him to be treated as an enemy combatant. And you know, we were gripped by fear when that attack happened. Boston had to shut down the city. There was basically martial law. And you had calls for an American citizen to be sent to Guantanamo, who hadn't yet even been charged with a crime. If we don't have a robust enough system in our civilian justice system to deal with someone like the individuals, and we don't know all the facts yet, who conducted the Boston Marathon bombing, then we should say that we're a different country. If we are at times